Hello, and welcome to my instructional video about the network changes between the N-Drives and Google Drive and the things that we have done to link or bridge the gap, I should say, between the Google Chromebooks and the network drives. Currently, I have been implementing a system on our network server that hosts all of our user files in their network drives, and I have changed them to, as you can see here, the G drive instead of the N drive. And what happens is when a user saves anything to their G drive, it will then upload and sync to their Google Drive, and vice versa. Anything they put into their Google Drive will then go back to their G drive. This is going to help us with like the Chromebooks. So if a student gets on a Chromebook and is working and needs to open up those files on a desktop and needs to have them synced and upload to Google Drive, this is an easy way for them to accomplish that. But in order for them to do that, we need to do some changes to their folders in Google Drive in order for them to access it. The only way we can do this is to share each individual folder to their accounts. Out of the 1,100 high school students we have, maybe only 200 or 300 students may actually want this feature. This is going to be mostly for your students that is in your desktop application courses, maybe yearbook, and some other things where they actually are going back and forth between the Windows PC and their Chromebook. Let me show you really quick how this works. So I'm in the Google Drive, or I'm in 24 Rogers H's account. And this is their G drive, and I'm going to simply create, or actually I'm going to go to Word, because this is how most students would use this feature. And so they're in the Word document. Hello, this is a Word document. And I'm going to simply do a Save As, Browse, and they're going to see the G drive. I'm going to say test Word doc. Save to the G drive. Okay. Give it just a few seconds, and I want to go now to their Google Drive in Chrome, as if they would if they was actually in a on their Chromebook. And right here you're going to see test Word document, and this is, for you Word people, know this is a temporary doc that saves as they go. But here it is, and you can see it's the document that we just typed up. So now they can actually access that from anywhere, from at home, anywhere they have access to a PC, they can now communicate back and forth with that. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to close out that document there. This should go back to probably one file. Yep, went back to one file. And I'm going to show you also that there's the test document in the G drive. I'll go back to their Google Drive. Delete the document from Google Drive here. And if we give it a few seconds, it will actually delete from here as well. Sometimes it takes the server just a few seconds to sync that back and forth. And there you go. See, now that test document is now gone. So how do we set this up for the students? I have shared the student folder for your school to each of the computer teachers and teachers that actually deal with the student accounts. It's not a very bad process to do. So right now we are actually in the Sunbright group, and this is what the Sunbright staff people will see that's going to manage these accounts. they'll see these folders for all the students. They can right click on the folder, click on share, and this is going to be for 17 BR, and always share it to the mcsed.net. Can edit is fine, and if you really want to, you can also click on the advanced and come down here to prevent editors from changing access and adding new people. Okay, and we are going to save those changes, and what that'll actually do is send them a notification that they now have access to that 17 BDR. But what will happen, more than likely, is that they may not see anything in their Google Drive right here. But when they go to shared with me, they may see that folder, like Hunter did here, 24 Rogers H. And they just simply click and drag into my drive, and it's there permanently. Or they can always go to shared with me, and that's where anything they save will be resided into, is that folder. Now, if they go back to my drive right here, and here's that folder. One thing to take note is that, for instance, I'm going to create a new folder right here, and I'm going to call it a test folder. Okay, this is not in that folder. This is actually a folder that you shared, which maps and is linked to their G drive on the computer. So this test folder will not be in this G drive here. So that's not syncing back and forth because it is not in that folder. So once again, I'm logged in as Hunter Rogers right here. This is his drive. So this is the only stuff that syncs back and forth. This folder that syncs back and forth is limited to 1 gig of storage space. Plenty of space for user documents, a few pictures, just normal projects. If that needs to be turned up on any students, please let me know, and I can turn that up to 2 to 4 gig or however much you need. But they are allowed to save anything that they want to, unlimited space, outside of that folder. So as long as they don't save inside this folder, they can have unlimited access, even if they have 1 gig of access in here. So let's say they've been working on a project and it's not on their Google Drive, their G Drive on their desktop. Then let's rename this as project. Oh, I removed it. Let's just make a new one called project. Okay, they actually been working on that project and they're on their Chromebook here in this scenario, and they want to then put it on their G drive to be synced back and forth so they can use it in document creation. Then they can simply just click and drag it to there. Click on OK. As you can see, the project folder is there. In just a few seconds, there it is. Project is now on their G drive. Once again, to look at this one more time, in order for them to have access to that folder that syncs back and forth, just find your student in the Google Drive that we shared with you, right click, share to the student, whoever you want it to be, which is 17 Bowling H. Prevent editors from changing access and adding new people. After that is done, then the student can then save into their own folder in their Google Drive or on their Chromebook, and that will sync back and forth to the Google Drive as long as it's in that folder that you're sharing. Once again, only share these folders with students that you believe is going to use this feature. The students can still use that G drive as a network drive as they did before. It doesn't have to sync. This is only for students going back and forth from a Chromebook. So this is going to be your students. That's going to be in your document creation classes, maybe your web design classes, in your normal computer classes that's wanting to go back and forth between Word. I'm not opposed for you doing all of them, but there really is no sense, and it's going to take quite a bit of time. That's why I'm kind of giving the access to you all to decide which students do and do not need that. The less students that we have on there means the more space possibly that I can give other students later down the road. If you have any syncing trouble or issues, just let me know. If the file had not synced in, say, 5 minutes, please let me know, and I'll continue to monitor the server. We've had a few students and teachers even try this new feature, and it seems to be working very, very well. Once I get these teachers done or students done, I'll be looking at making the teachers an account, maybe on a separate server that's going to do the same thing. Once again, we're just right now, this is just going to be for students. And if y'all have any questions or don't understand exactly how this is going to work, just please let me know, and I'll talk to you about it more in detail. Thanks.